say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the Principal Director for Research, Mr. Dale Ormond.
Well, first, I thank you all for being here. I think first we ought to applaud the young lady who did such a tremendous job with the national anthem. So thank you very much. Just terrific. It's a great day to be here. Thank you all for coming. I want a special thanks to Ms. Mary Miller for hosting today's ceremony and the event today. It's just tremendous to get all the labs and many of our scientists and engineers out here. Great to see you all firsthand. I want to welcome a couple of our distinguished visitors, Mr. James McStravick, performing the duties of the Undersecretary of Defense for Acquisition, Technology, and Research. Ms. Lisa Disbrow, the Undersecretary of the Air Force. Mr. Professor Hugh Durant White, who is the Chief Science Advisor to the UK's Ministry of Defense, who's visiting here from the UK today. Lieutenant General Dickinson, Commanding General of the Army Space and Missile Defense Command, Army Strategic Forces. Thank you for coming, sir. I want a special welcome to all of our scientists and engineers and our workforce who are here displaying their wares for the many people inside the building to come see us. This is our second time we've held this event. It's our goal to hold this every 2 years, to bring in the labs and show what our government scientists and engineers are doing every day to make a difference in the fight. The displays here demonstrate what our defense labs do to solve problems today and design solutions for tomorrow. It's my honor to introduce our first speaker, Ms. Mary J. Miller, the Acting Assistant Secretary of Defense for Research and Engineering, and our host. She was promoted to the Senior Executive Service in 2005, where she served as the Director for Technology within the Office of the Assistant Secretary of Army for Acquisition, Logistics, and Technology, where she was responsible for oversight and coordination of the Army's S&T efforts and technology transition. She then moved on to be the Deputy Program Executive Officer for Soldier, where she was responsible for overseeing, coordinating all the things that we put on a soldier, all the things they wear, carry, protection devices, guns, and all the rest. Tremendous operational understanding of how things go on the acquisition side. She went back to the Assistant Secretary office as the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Research and Technology, where she was responsible for actually running all those programs that the Army runs for its S&T. And then recently she moved up here last year to the Principal Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Research and Engineering. But I would say today, the thing that we all almost should be most proud about is that she talks about how she started in this business as a lab rat. One of you all out there doing research in one of the laboratories, and I think we are very, very honored to have someone who started at the bottom of this program and is now being a leader and an advocate for what our scientists and engineers do every day. So with that, please welcome Ms. Mary Miller.
So thank you very much and for that kind introduction. And yes, I would say I am a lab rat. Good morning and welcome to the 2017 Department of Defense Lab Day. I am Mary Miller, Acting Assistant Secretary of Defense for Research and Engineering. I am happy to see many of you here this morning and excited to host this biennial event. As a product of the Department of Defense laboratory community myself, I started my career as an engineer within the Army, working for the night vision laboratories. And yes, they are displayed here as well. You can stop by and see them. I cannot tell you how proud it makes me to be able to showcase the exceptional talent that we have here within the Defense Laboratory enterprise. This serves as an innovation leader in developing technology to protect Americans and troops both on and off the battlefield. The labs provide a flexible in-house capability that can quickly adjust to the warfighter needs. They provide science and technology and engineering expertise to the entire Department of Defense that allows our nation to maintain a technological edge over potential adversaries. The Defense Laboratory enterprise helps meet today's urgent operational needs while ensuring decisive overmatch for the force of the future. It provides foundational capabilities for the joint warfighter across the entire spectrum of operations. These capabilities include chemical biological defense, combat feeding, space robotics, ISR capabilities, and ground and air active and passive protection systems, among many others. Lab Day showcases just a small sample of the innovative work currently being done by the more than 39,000 scientists and engineers over the 63 defense laboratories, warfare centers, and engineering centers, those which reside in over 22 states and the District of Columbia. Throughout this courtyard today, you will see more than 80 exhibits that represent some of the many efforts of our teams. More importantly, you will have a chance to meet and talk with some of our many scientists and engineers within the Department of Defense. I encourage you to do this. They are the foundation upon which we build our new military capabilities. The DoD labs and centers adapt to the evolving needs of the warfighter and provide quality technical and mission performance value that would not otherwise be commercially sustained. Through these efforts, the department is continuing to be the engine of innovation that allows our military to overcome current and future challenges to our security, whether it be increasingly aggressive near-peer nations, wars over religious, ethnic, or tribal identity, the threats of nuclear proliferation, or trans-regional networks of sub-state groups like ISIS or Al-Qaeda. The Defense Laboratory enterprise develops solutions to near and long-term challenges and advances the critical technologies that will make future weapon systems both affordable and effective. They focus on the research and development needed for the next generation of capabilities that provide that warfighter the technical edge. The Army, Navy, and Air Force, as well as the joint and medical communities, are represented here today. Such widespread representation demonstrates the complexity and diversity of the DoD laboratory enterprise. As you walk the line, you will see some of the same technologies being worked in each service. Things like autonomy and directed energy, for example. These technologies show great promise for incredible improvements to future military capability. The services have leveraged the knowledge gained in their sister services and are applying that knowledge to evaluate these technologies as they apply to specific service missions. Just to highlight a few of the things you can see here today, from the Army Research Lab has designed the soldier weapon exoskeleton to increase the lethality of the future dismounted soldier. The Army and others have looked at the benefit of using exoskeletons, wearable mobile machines that can increase the strength and endurance of a soldier. This particular exoskeleton is designed to reduce arm fatigue and improve marksmanship by steadying a soldier's weapon. The third arm attaches to the soldier's tactical vest and can take the weight of up to a 20-pound weapon off the arms of the soldier by redistributing this weight across his torso. This technology will potentially increase the soldiers' lethality by allowing them to easily and steadily wield a more powerful weapons by redistributing this weight and mitigating the recoil of the weapon. From the Navy, you will have a chance to talk to the Combatant Craft Division at the Naval Surface Warfare Center in Carteret. They support more than 10,000 boats, crafts, and life rafts worldwide. They're working right now to develop a range of unmanned surface vehicles that will contribute to the future warfighting needs of the Navy and the Marine Corps. One such effort highlighted in the Navy exhibits is the Stiletto, an experimental all-carbon fiber craft that was originally built to explore the scalability of non-mechanical dynamic lift, composite carbon fiber construction, and high-speed performance for military operations. This ship has since become a test platform that allows industry, government, and academic organizations a realistic environment within which they can demonstrate emerging capabilities and technologies. As the Navy pursues more unmanned surface and underwater capabilities, the Stiletto has also served as a command and control platform, ensuring that these unmanned systems are carefully monitored. And from the Air Force Research Laboratories Low-Cost Attritable Aircraft Technology, LCAT program, aims to develop a family of low-cost, expendable, unmanned air vehicles. The program is currently exploring technologies that can produce a new category of UAV. UAVs capable of delivering long-range responsive capability in near-peer environments that limit or prohibit forward basing. These UAVs will augment current weapon systems by providing new, highly tailorable capabilities such as weapons delivery, finding and locating targets, jamming, or even improved communications. Because these unmanned aircraft can fly into highly contested areas ahead of a manned craft, this new UAV will significantly improve engagement in contested areas, and the target price for these is under $3 million. As you walk around, you can see for yourself that our scientists and engineers are doing groundbreaking and innovative work. They are seeking to understand the problems faced by the warfighter and are embracing the hard challenges and working to develop solutions that ensure that our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines have the technological superiority on the battlefield. The department's scientists and engineers are the foundation that sustains our ability to support and field military critical technology that has no commercial equivalent. Today, we are very honored to be able to recognize some of them here as we acknowledge past year's recipients of our Scientists of the Quarter Award. Our ability to continue to maintain our technological edge, however, depends on the next generation of DoD scientists and engineers. The department has a unique role to play in supporting science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or STEM education. And we have an extensive STEM education and outreach program. STEM underpins the DoD's ability to defend the nation and assure the vitality of the nation's defense industrial base and our national security. We are pleased to have many junior high and high school students here today. We invited them to increase their awareness of some of the exciting work being done in our DoD laboratories. This work not only advances the capabilities of the military, but also has a significant impact on technology advances in commercial industry. Unlike organizations such as the National Science Foundation and the Department of Education, DoD has laboratories that can be used to provide hands-on learning experiences for students and spark this ever-growing interest in STEM fields. As an organization, we continue to make use of this unique capability and encourage the department's scientists and engineers to increase their participation in STEM education activities, sharing their experiences and the unique technological challenges of the military with our next generation of scientists and engineers. The Department of Defense provides a variety of opportunities that enable students to pursue their STEM education through fellowships, grants, and tuition for service programs. The Science, Math, and Research for Transformation, SMART, Scholarship for Service program supports undergraduate and graduate students pursuing degrees in STEM. All SMART scholars are gainfully employed in a DoD laboratory or facility after graduation. The employment obligation is a one-for-one trade. For each academic year of a participant's award, he or she is required to commit 1 year, 12 months of civilian employment to the DoD. The National Defense Science and Engineering Graduate Fellowship is also an opportunity. It is a highly competitive portable fellowship that is awarded to those pursuing a doctoral degree in one of 15 supported STEM disciplines of interest to the department. As a means of increasing the number of U.S. citizens and nationals trained in science and engineering disciplines of military importance, we award these 3-year fellowships to individuals who have demonstrated their ability and special aptitude for advanced training in these fields. These programs demonstrate the department's commitment to innovation and investing in our workforce. Today, we will be recognizing the STEM Education and Outreach Advocate of the Quarter for their work in supporting such important and meaningful programs. Our scientists and engineers of today and tomorrow are doing a magnificent job rising to and meeting the hard challenges facing our warfighters. I again will thank you for coming here today, and I know it's incredibly hard, so I appreciate that. But technology is changing at a rapid pace, and I hope that you enjoy taking a look into some of the cool stuff that our labs and military assets are working on. As the Deputy Secretary of Defense said during testimony just 2 weeks ago, quote, "I would put the innovation record of the Department of Defense since 1947 up against any company in the United States and in the world." Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. The Department of Defense recognizes on a quarterly basis the DoD Laboratories' science and technology excellence by presenting the Laboratory Scientist of the Quarter to individual scientists and engineers based on outstanding performance of their duties. The STEM Education and Outreach Advocate of the Quarter recognizes individuals or teams that demonstrate exemplary support of STEM education and outreach across the department. Today, Ms. Miller will recognize some of the department's recent awardees. Dr. Kang Zhu of the Army Research Laboratory was named the DoD's Scientist of the Quarter for the second quarter of 2017 for his recent discovery of high-voltage aqueous electrolyte materials. These materials can enable new battery chemistries that have energy densities and life cycles similar to current state-of-the-art lithium batteries, but with absolute safety and non-flammability. Dr. Zhu's work will potentially revolutionize the landscape of the battery industry by enabling the production of high-energy, safe, and easily producible batteries that can be integrated into uniforms or configured into wearable formats. Dr. James Hing of the Naval Air Warfare Center's Aircraft Division in Lakehurst, New Jersey, was recognized as the Laboratory Scientist of the Quarter for the first quarter of 2017. Dr. Hing is an expert and recognized leader in the field of robotics. His research in using robotics to optimize the workload on the decks of aircraft carriers will reduce the number of sailors needed on the deck at any one moment. This will make a difference in the daily lives of the Navy's sailors by taking them out of harm's way, allow them to focus on the mission first, and improve their work-life balance. Dr. Christopher Darling of the Army Research Laboratory was recognized as the Scientist of the Quarter for the fourth quarter of 2016 for his discovery of the high structural strength and high thermal stability of copper alloy microstructures. This discovery enables the design of materials with unsurpassed properties that can be used for applications such as advanced turbine engines and other high-temperature, high-strength applications. Because of his findings, the Defense Department will be able to replace exotic materials that are currently required for these applications with more common, lower-cost alloys with no degradation of performance. Dr. Benjamin Taylor of the Navy's Space and Naval Warfare Systems Center Pacific was named the Scientist of the Quarter for the third quarter of 2016 for his lead role in developing new superconducting quantum interference devices for the detection of radio frequency transmissions, which greatly improve the United States military's capacity to gather signals intelligence. Dr. Taylor's research with state-of-the-art micro and nanoscale circuitry focuses on small wideband arrays that significantly reduce the number of antenna systems the warfighter requires to dominate the RF spectrum. Dr. Andrew Gunthner of the Air Force Research Laboratory was named the Scientist of the Quarter for the second quarter of 2016. Dr. Gunthner was recognized for his distinguished accomplishments in finding ways for lightweight rocket and missile structures to withstand higher temperatures than they currently do. Allowing these materials to withstand higher temperatures enables more of the space and weight in a rocket or missile to be devoted to generating thrust, which translates into longer operating ranges, faster speeds, greater maneuverability, and more capable payloads. Dr. Rose Pesquet-Rodriguez of the Army Research Laboratory was named the STEM Advocate of the Quarter for the second quarter of 2017 for her involvement in STEM education and outreach programs and the impact they make on the community. Dr. Rose is the leader of Howard County, Maryland's Chemistry in the Library program, where she conducts interactive learning sessions every Saturday at libraries throughout Howard County. The program has become such a success that she now conducts 2 sessions per week due to the large number of interested students. During each chemistry-themed session, she engages with approximately 150 students and over 50 parents. Recent sessions include Chemistry Colors of the World, with activities and discussions designed to explore the chemistry of color, and the Great Indoors, with learning activities focused on indoor air and water quality. Ladies and gentlemen, the laboratory scientists and STEM advocates of the quarter.
So I've already admitted to being a lab rat, but it is my great pleasure now to introduce a fellow engineer who started his career with the Navy as a naval architect designing ships, worked at NATO as the Deputy Director for Armaments Cooperation Division, spent some time with the Air Force as the Deputy Director for Airborne Networking Division, and then moved to the Office of the Secretary of Defense, where he's held a number of positions within the office, culminating in his current position, performing the duties of the Undersecretary of Defense for Acquisition, Logistics, and Technology, Mr. Jimmy McStravick. Jimmy is somebody who enjoys talking with technologists, and I am sure has at time in his career been considered a fellow geek. In his current role, Mr. McStravick is the leader of the Department of Defense's efforts to increase buying power and improve the performance of the defense acquisition systems and the enterprise. Mr. McStravick is responsible for the Secretary and Deputy Secretary of Defense for all matters pertaining to the Department of Defense acquisition, research and engineering, developmental test, contract administration, logistics and material readiness, installations and environments, operational energy, chemical, biological, and nuclear weapons, the acquisition workforce, and the defense industrial base. He oversees the office of 5 Assistant Secretaries of Defense, 11 directorates, and 6 defense agencies. And as you can imagine, he is incredibly busy, and we thank him for being here today. Jimmy?
So to summarize, at least temporarily, that makes me the king of the geeks, okay? And we have a bi-weekly meeting with the deputy and the secretary. I invited the other undersecretaries to come out, hang out with the cool kids today, but they don't seem to have joined us. So I have a dirty secret too. I'm a lab rat wannabe. I worked in the propeller tunnel at MIT when I was an undergraduate, and when I found out that the David Taylor model basin performed similar functions, and the fact that I would be paid for something that I already did and enjoyed very much, I hopefully submitted an application. But I didn't make the cut at David Taylor, and I had to settle for a job in acquisition at NAVC. So why am I really here? I'm here to congratulate the lab scientists of the quarter and the STEM advocate of the quarter. I'm here to celebrate the great technology that you have on display today. I always enjoy visiting the DoD labs. I make a point whenever I'm forced to go out and do a program review to see who's doing what cool in the neighborhood, and I've always enjoyed that experience. Most recently, I think, in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where there's some wicked cool stuff going on that a little bit I'm allowed to talk about. In celebration of all things geek, I would like to give our awardees of the quarter one more last round of applause. So why does this matter? Why do you matter? This is a question I have to answer all the time because the department is not widely seen as being a horrifically innovative source of warfighting advantage. There's an increasing perception that all innovation occurs in the commercial market and that we're racing to catch up. And frankly, nothing could be farther from the truth. An awful lot of what's called research and development in the private sector is systems development, not technology development, and certainly not the kinds of basic research and science that's performed in the laboratories within the defense research establishment. But that aside, I'm not whining. The Defense Department is committed to sustaining our technological advantage and maintaining our long-term technological advantage, superiority in all domains: land, sea, air, space, and cyberspace. The department's focus on technology and innovation seeks to identify and invest in unique capabilities to sustain and advance the department's military advantage through the 21st century. Building the weapons superiority of the United States future fighting force is the responsibility of the acquisition, technology, and logistics communities, which I'm currently running. The basis of our technological superiority lies in our science and technology communities. 70 years ago, what's now the United States, the Undersecretary of Defense for Acquisition and Technology and Logistics, was established as the Director for Defense Research to ensure and foster collaboration between military, industry, and academia. The DoD labs is where that happens, okay? Doesn't happen in this building. It happens at conferences, but the day-to-day technological intelligence, science conversations, identifying opportunities that emerging science and technology provides to the warfighter happens every day by professionals, by people who think this is their job, not by tourists, not by industry, but by the people that I see sitting in front of me. The uniformed and civilian scientists and engineers working in the DoD labs and centers explore new scientific frontiers, advance military capabilities and technologies, and help to shape the battlefield. By fostering a close relationship between the DoD labs and the acquisition community, we can speed the flow of technology by technology areas from the labs into systems to ensure warfighters and citizens have the cutting-edge technology they need. A lot of cool stuff on the benches today. I only got to see about a half dozen systems. I'm very carefully minded because of those demands on my time, and I'm probably going to sneak by a couple others on my way back to my office. Engineering centers, okay? They're more about technology and fielding capabilities than they are about engineering lookup tables. Our engineering centers help translate research into militarily useful technologies and provide reach-back capabilities and subject matter expertise to solve problems and challenges within existing systems. There's a misperception that we wake up one morning and decide that we want to apply a technology in a new and useful way in a new and useful system. More than half of what we do is keep our current systems operationally relevant and outpacing the threat. And the key to identifying where need, technology, and operations intersect all happen here with this community. The technologies being worked on in the defense labs offer leap-ahead capabilities and the potential for what are considered game-changing advancements across all domains of warfare. We are changing games. We're changing games on our terms. You guys are key to making sure that we decide the pace of innovation, that we determine the future of warfare, and that we never end up in a fair fight. Today you're going to see a lot of cool technologies on display. I got a sneak preview, guided tour. For the Army at the ARL, our scientists and engineers are performing the underpinning science that will take robots from tools to teammates. In my engagement today, I was very impressed that the key focus, at least of the presenter, was not in so much the hardware, which was doing wicked cool things semi-autonomously on the ground, but the key challenge for building a reliable teammate was being able to communicate between this device and the soldier in natural language. I'm sorry, boys and girls, we build weapons. All right, weapons of thought, weapons of physics, weapons of kinetics, weapons of information. And a weapon has to be reliable, safe, and useful in a battlefield environment, and that's where the soldier is. If you don't understand what the soldier is depending on in that time and place, you're wasting our time. And this community is the key to understanding what is relevant, important, critical, and cute in a battlefield environment. Making those priorities, identifying the key challenges, staying ahead of where technology wants them and the market wants us to be, and focusing on warfighter requirements. Their work on distributed collaborative autonomous systems teamed with soldiers will offer a means to operate in complex domains at a high tempo with significantly reduced risk and fewer solutions. Importantly to me, you're creating a partner that the soldier can count on in a remarkably difficult landscape. In a combat environment, where you might be clean out of the box, but I want to see what you look like after 100 days after somebody shot at you and I've dropped you a few times. That is a useful partner in a warfighting context. Research being done through the Micro-Autonomous Systems and Technology Program seeks to leverage autonomous, mobile, multifunctional microsystems to enhance dismounted soldiers' situational awareness as they attempt to find, fix, and destroy the enemy. We have a current operational challenge in Syria and Iraq and Afghanistan, where small UAVs, small commercial UAVs, are being used kind of as an edge case. A short-range air defense problem has caught us unaware, and we're trying to find an effective way to make sure forces can defend themselves on the battlefield in a predictable fashion. What y'all are doing is making sure that we have the technological advantage in the next fight we go into, that we will have an integrated capability in terms of surveillance and kinetics that the dismounted and mounted soldier can count on whatever the threat is. Again, taking a technology that we frankly understand better and the better potential for and integrating it into our warfighting capabilities. Eventually, a team of miniature ground and aerial robots may be able to enter high-risk zones and conduct a coordinated search. You heard Mary talking about some fairly long-range anti-access area denial capabilities that will enhance, not replace, warfighter effectiveness on the battlefield. For the Navy, my home team, you'll find folks here from the Naval Medical Research Center's Biological Defense Research Directorate. These scientists excel in the development of systems capable of detecting a biological attack, something that's happening more and more on the battlefield. And a biological attack doesn't have to be something that's easily perceptible or happens in a very short period of time. And it doesn't have to happen on the front lines. These capabilities are going to be important forward deployed and back here at home. When the nation looks for solutions to civil biological threats, they reach to the services and to the labs, not to industry, because for industry there's no commercial case. For us, there's a security imperative. On display in the Navy's lab is the portable lab, which basically conducts molecular detection in the field. This lab, which was deployed in Desert Storm and Desert Shield, enables military personnel to conduct rapid confirmatory assays to determine whether biological agents are present. And the Navy team's here to show you how it works. It's pretty cool. Finally, the Air Force is pursuing laser weapons and other high-powered electromagnetics to enable operations against adversaries who may try to prevent access to or deny our ability to operate in a given area. Lasers have been coming for a long time. We have engaged in a long and expensive series of experiments to bring that technology to the level where it is operationally relevant and useful. I believe the Navy has a very similar display based on what they've done in the ponds. I believe AFRL has found it a remarkably useful and timely solution that has broad applicability across the U.S. Air Forces and immediate applicability to tactical air forces in a way that doesn't require a very long time and leverages all of the capabilities that are already on these platforms. One demonstration you'll see, and this is the one they showed me, is the Self-Protect High-Energy Laser Demonstrator, which shows these the readiness of technologies by integrating them into a pod, which will be attached to an F-15, and demonstrated in the relatively near future. Demonstrated in a militarily useful way, not in a gee whiz, this is cute way. Each of the products you will see are a critical part of maintaining our technological superiority, yet they're only a small part of the efforts taking place across the DoD labs. The work's being done at our labs and centers contribute not only to the lethality of the warfighters, it helps them survive. The state-of-the-art work being done in our medical facilities has enabled the Department of Defense to increase the survival rate of our wounded warfighters in both Iraq and Afghanistan. Our labs and centers are engaged not only in militarily related innovation, but also in science and technology that's helped to support peacekeeping operations, mitigate global disasters, and even improve the effectiveness of NFL helmets. From detecting warfighters against traumatic brain injury to fighting viruses such as Ebola and Zika, the incredible skills and work ethic of our scientists and engineers make them an extraordinary resource to all acquisition professionals. Make no mistake, our DoD lab enterprise is world-class, and the core technical engine of the Department of Defense is its science and technology workforce. DoD personnel are winning prestigious awards to provide the technological edge in warfighting by delivering advanced capabilities through innovation. One such award that I am honored to present this morning is the Applied Research and Advancement of S&T Priorities, or the ARAP grant. This grant enables the early launch of S&T applied research projects to shape defense S&T investment. And without further ado, let's announce the winners of the ARAP grant. Thanks very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Mr. McStravick. The Office of the Assistant Secretary of Defense for Research and Engineering awards the Applied Research for the Advancement of S&T Priorities grant. This $45 million award funds a 3-year project oriented towards the design, development, and improvement of prototypes and new processes to meet general mission area requirements and to translate promising research into solutions for military needs. The winner of this year's award is the Defense Optical Channel Program, a joint effort by scientists and engineers from the Army, Naval, and Air Force Research Laboratories, as well as from the Army's Space and Missile Defense Command. The program will mature technology for a new adaptive information network backbone to deliver secure position, timing, navigation, and assured communications with unprecedented accuracy, robustness, and trust. The program enables new applications, maximizing the use of the optical channel to ensure a resilient and jam-resistant communications capability by leveraging laser communications with channel adaptive techniques, optical time transfer, and quantum communications. Joining Mr. McStravick on stage to accept the award on behalf of the program are Dr. Jim Daniel from the United States Army Space and Missile Defense Command, Dr. Linda Thomas from the Naval Research Laboratory, and Dr. Julie Smith from the Air Force Research Laboratory. Thank you, Mr. McStravick. A congressional proclamation introduced by Senator Don Lee and his staff, which makes today DoD Lab Day, has been passed by the Senate. It reads in part, expressing the sense of the Senate that defense laboratories are on the cutting edge of scientific and technological development, be it resolved that the Senate supports the designation of May 18th, 2017 as Department of Defense Laboratory Day, in celebration of all of the work and accomplishments of the national network of laboratories and engineering centers that are owned and operated by the United States Armed Forces. A similar proclamation recognizing the outstanding dedication, qualifications, and accomplishments of the scientists, technicians, and support staff of the defense laboratories has also been brought to the floor of the House of Representatives. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ormond.
Well, once again, let me thank you all for attending, and especially thank Mr. McStravick for participating and being our keynote speaker, and Ms. Miller for hosting today's ceremony. What our scientists and engineers do every day is tremendous, and we like to say that it's all about helping that soldier, a sailor, airman, a Marine out on point to execute their mission and come home safe. And it's about putting the capabilities in the hands of that individual to do those things is what we're all about. So again, thank you for what you do. Thank you for, and congratulations to the winners of our various awards, and especially to the ARAP team, who's going to set a new standard for us and some new exciting ideas. And once again, thank you all for attending today.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Please stand for the departure of the official party.